Chief Diversity Officer, an Associate Vice President of the University, and Director of the University Office of Diversity and Inclusion, which is a really cool set of titles. She has also been a terrific supporter of our college and the Information in Diverse Populations program and other initiatives we have. So we're very grateful to what she's done for us, but also in her not that long a period of time at this university has done tremendous work in focusing many parts of this institution on issues of diversity and inclusion. So she's going to say a few words about how diversity and inclusion fit in the broad university picture.
Dr. Yeager, and good morning, and welcome for those of you who are not here on campus. Welcome to the University of Maryland. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to share some of my thoughts with you at this important symposium on library and information science, on diversity in library and science, information science education. And I want to congratulate IPAC, Information Policy and Access Center, on its leadership in this really important arena. In 1948, my mother graduated with a bachelor's degree from Howard University in Washington, and she began working in catalog maintenance at the Library of Congress. She was interested in literature, she hoped to write a great American novel, and she thought the Library of Congress would be a great place to nurture that dream. But 3 years later, she quit because of the blatant racism. As a black woman, her job required a bachelor's degree, but she was working side by side with white women who held the very same position with only a high school diploma, some of them rather incompetent. A few years later, after she quit at the library, she became a school teacher, I was born, and our family resided in a very racially segregated D.C. We lived 2 blocks from Prince George's County, 2 blocks from Hyattsville. The D.C. side was probably 98% black, and the Hyattsville side was about 95% white. Eastern Avenue not only divided D.C. and Maryland, it was a strict line of racial demarcation. I know we still have our dividing lines. They haven't been erased altogether, but they are much more porous. There's more fluidity, and the edges of them have been frayed. The world is changing. 43% of the residents of the state of Maryland are black, Latino, or Asian. And within a decade or so, Maryland will be majority minority. Many residents are immigrants or the sons and daughters of immigrants, and we have diversity in socioeconomic status, religion, sexual orientation, ability, gender identity, and expression. Plus, we're living in a time where we're more aware of the fact that all of us have multiple identities. None of us is just one thing. Some people are biracial or multiracial. For many, identity shifts and changes over the lifetime. People don't fit in easy boxes. They don't necessarily want to just check one. So diversity is the order of the day, and yet it's not enough to simply watch it from a distance or even to simply celebrate it. Instead, we need to actively foster diversity. And fostering diversity is important for 3 key reasons. One, we do it because it's the right thing to do. We want everyone to be on a level playing field, to have an equal opportunity to learn, to be educated, to get a job, to thrive. So that's the social justice rationale for diversity. Secondly, because of the rapidly changing demographics, we must embrace diversity. The businesses and schools that fail to figure out how to engage a diverse workforce and serve a diverse clientele won't survive. They'll become increasingly irrelevant. That's the bottom line rationale for diversity. But there's a third reason to embrace diversity. It works. It works better than homogeneity. There's growing evidence that heterogeneous groups are more effective at solving complex problems than groups where everyone's the same. The groups where everyone's the same do sometimes solve problems more quickly. People get each other more if they're similar. They may have some shared assumptions in common. But they're less creative. They're less innovative. So there are benefits of having different perspectives and vantage points and worldviews. That's the excellence rationale for diversity. So I want to focus for a few minutes on what it takes to be an organization that truly fosters diversity, what it takes to be what I call a culturally competent organization. And I know I'm tweaking a bit what Dr. Yeager asked me to talk about, but I hope he'll forgive me. So there are three core components of a culturally competent organization or institution. And I think these three components apply whether we're talking about a school, college, or university, a community-based nonprofit, a library, a governmental entity, or a Fortune 500. First, there must be opportunities for access for all, opportunities for people of all backgrounds and cultures to participate, to join in, to engage. In a university, this means students, staff, and faculty from all walks of life. In a public library, it means customers and users of all ages and abilities and languages. If your school or library doesn't look like the community around it, if it doesn't mirror the world, you've got some work to do. Issues of access to higher education have broken wide open this year with the launch of MOOCs, massive online open courses, where anyone from around the world who has access to a computer, and obviously many do not, but anyone who has access can take a course from a leading scholar at a top-tier university. The University of Maryland has joined Coursera, which is one of the MOOC companies, and we're offering 4 courses this spring. Dr. Elsa Barkley Brown will teach a course on women in the civil rights movement. And the dean of our College in Arts and Humanities recently told me that an African-American woman in rural Louisiana called to find out if her book club, which is comprised of women, many of whom have not graduated from college, some who didn't graduate from high school, she wondered, could they take this course? And of course the answer was yes. So how incredible to be able to provide that kind of access. Access is important, but so is success. Access and success. In the university, it's not enough simply to admit students from historically underrepresented groups. We've got to also ensure that the structures and supports are in place for their success. It's not enough simply to hire women in technical fields. It's important to make sure that they don't bump up into a glass ceiling. It's not enough for employees from underrepresented groups to be brought in and to languish at the bottom of the organizational hierarchy. They need to be provided opportunities for supervisory, managerial, and leadership positions. So access and success go hand in hand. So the second component of a culturally competent organization is a positive climate. It's important to create and sustain a climate that is welcoming, affirming, and embracing for all. It's about creating an atmosphere of inclusion where people feel respected and affirmed regardless of their culture, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status. Inclusion means that students don't have to check their heritage at the campus gates. It means that employees can bring their whole selves to work. Creating an inclusive climate means going beyond counting heads. It means understanding people's experiences, the vibe, the mood, what it feels like. The old school notion was, come on in. We're glad to have you. We want you to be like us. Dress like us, talk like us, act like us, learn from us, and you'll be just fine. If you're a little uncomfortable, just try to adjust. The modern notion is, come on in. We're glad to have you. With all of your uniqueness, we want to learn from you, and we hope you will learn from us. We know that we'll be better and stronger because you're part of us. It may be uncomfortable for us at times. We know we'll make some mistakes, but let's join together to make this work. The old notion is the melting pot. The modern idea is the salad bowl. Creating and sustaining a positive climate for all is the second key aspect of a culturally competent organization. And getting the climate right is hard. It can be tough. It means changing the culture of the organization, questioning our assumptions about how we do what we do, recognizing that our ways of doing business reflect a particular cultural framework, not universal truths, and developing a culture that is responsive to the values and worldviews of many. Third element of a culturally competent organization, and that's the infusion of diverse perspectives throughout the substantive work of the institution. In schools and colleges, this means the educational curricula, the research and scholarship agenda must reflect the diversity of the communities that are served. It means a recognition that students need to hear and learn from a multiplicity of worldviews and standpoints, that they need to be knowledgeable about diverse cultures and identities, that they need skills in interacting with people who are quite different from them. And it means a recognition that all students, regardless of their planned career or profession or locale, must have these multicultural competencies. That to live and work effectively and be a good global citizen in today's world requires us as individuals to be culturally competent. So whether it's English or engineering, art history or information sciences, the curricula need to integrate relevant content from diverse cultural vantage points. And the notion of infusion goes beyond having one course over there that students take and we check off the box and say, done with that. It goes beyond the notion of hiring one faculty member from an underrepresented group who handles all the diversity issues and we check off the box and say, done with that. Infusion really means that these issues are integrated throughout the curricula, that they're part and parcel of all courses. It means we go beyond relegating the 15th week of the semester as the one where we bring in the diversity issues and then the semester ends. So in addition to focusing on content and infusing that, all courses need to utilize pedagogical approaches that respond to the learning styles of diverse learners. Everyone doesn't learn the same way, access information in the same way, process information in the same way. There are cultural differences in learning styles, and there are ability differences in learning styles and approaches. So teaching in a diverse, inclusive manner not only has to do with the content of the course, but also with the teaching methods, with how we teach. So in the culturally competent organization, there's access and success, there's a positive climate regardless of your identity group, and there's an infusion of diverse perspectives and diverse pedagogies throughout the substance of the work. The culturally competent institution is one where diversity is part and parcel of the fabric of the institution. A few years ago, when I was working in California at a private university, the President's Cabinet had a retreat. We brought in Roosevelt Thomas, who's a nationally known diversity expert, and we were sitting around talking about the diversity work that we're doing on campus. And at one point, Dr. Thomas spoke up and said, well, is diversity a program here, or is it part and parcel? In other words, is diversity something that they do in that office? Is diversity something that he takes care of? Is it for those people over there, or that unfortunate group over there? Or is it something that's really embedded into the fabric of your university? And that notion of part and parcel has really stuck with me. And I think it's incumbent on all of us to in all that we do, regardless of our position at our universities, at our libraries, in the other institutions where we work, to be constantly thinking about what are the diversity implications of the policies, the practices, the procedures, the initiatives that I'm doing. What are the implications for people from marginalized groups? What are the implications for the learning and engagement of all? I'm very proud of the University of Maryland. We have an ethnically diverse student body. More than a third of our undergraduates, for example, are students of color. In the past decade, there's been a significant increase in the number of women faculty. We were recently named a top 25 LGBT-friendly campus. Woo! Good thing. We're very proud of that. And we're leaders in increasing access to higher education. We believe in inclusive excellence, the notion that to be an excellent university, we must be diverse and inclusive. And that we must go beyond a programmatic, simply a programmatic focus and make this part and parcel. We're not there yet. We still have a ways to go. Our work here continues on, and I hope yours does as well. Thank you.